Hello everyone, welcome to KK4Z, and my name is Scott. And it's been a while since I shot a video, so I thought I would do one on some of the things I've got going on in my life right now. Um, like I said in my blog, in retirement I really want to pursue learning more about electronics. And on my blog I talked about setting up a workstation, which I have. And I really want to show kind of my adventures of what I'm doing, and if I find something that's kind of interesting that may help somebody else, then I'll post it from time to time. Really, I'm at the beginning stages of this. I know very, 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 very basic stuff about an oscilloscope. I am by no means a pro. There's a lot I have to learn, and really all I'm doing is sharing my adventures, taking you along for the ride, so to speak. I am in no way consider myself an expert at this. I just enjoy having fun, and I enjoy sharing some of the things that I learn. And part of my journey in learning electronics is I am also learning about the Arduinos, and I have one here, and I wanted to kind of show you a really good example of how, at least to me, how an oscilloscope kind of works. Now, when you first power on an Arduino, it has a real basic program in here, and what it does is this program makes that orange light blink on and off. And it's kind of like a self-test, and that's what you start off with. When you buy an Arduino, the first time you plug it in, that blinking light should happen. So I was thinking about that, and then I said, well, gee, what does that look like on the oscilloscope? So then I set my oscilloscope up to run it, and I wanted to show you. I thought this is a good example of what the oscilloscope sees to what is actually happening. If you look at the light blinking, let's see, there we are. It shows the switch or the terminal, which is right above where one of those wires is connected. The other one's connected to ground. It's turning that terminal on and off. In other words, it's 5 volts, 0 volts, 5 volts, 0 volts, and on and on. And what I have done is I have hooked it up to the probe on my oscilloscope to show graphically what's going on. Now, what drives that is, if you look up here, what this says is the LED equals pin 13, and that's where I have the probe hooked up to, is pin 13, and I think it's pin 14 is the ground, and so that's how I have it hooked up. And then it talks about that the pin is going to be an output. In other words, it's going to be high, which is 5 volts, and low, which is 0 volts, and there'll be a delay of 1,000 milliseconds between the high and the low. And so that's what you're seeing, is you're seeing 1,000 milliseconds with the light on and 1,000 milliseconds with the light off. Hooking it up to the oscilloscope, this is what you're seeing. You're seeing 1,000 milliseconds at 5 volts, 1,000 milliseconds at 0, 1,000 milliseconds at 5 volts, 1,000 at 0, and there's no lag. So you kind of have a nice square wave here. I won't go into the details on how to set this up. It's not that video. I just really wanted to show you that this is what a blinking light looks like on an oscilloscope, which is one of the things that you could do in your troubleshooting. Let's say this thing every third beat did something funky. Well, you would see it here, whereas you couldn't catch it when it's blinking. The other neat thing you can do with the oscilloscope is that you can measure things. And I've kind of preset this up so that when I hit the cursor button, okay, it is measuring X and Y. The delta Y is 1.08 hertz, which is about 1 second. And then the delta change between 0 and 500 is 464 millivolts. When it's in its off state, it still shows about 12 millivolts. In its high state, it shows 476 or so millivolts. And there's a little variation there, but in general, I was getting about 460 millivolts, which is close to a half volt. And then X1 is showing at 1.57 seconds, and X2 is 0.64 seconds. And so the delta change, or the change of them, is 0.93 seconds. So that's pretty close to 1 second and 5 volts. But you can get this, you can see all this on the scope in a real time, but in a snapshot, kind of like taking a strobe light. And I think that's important when you're trying to troubleshoot something, you know, like turning something on and off. Is it doing what it's supposed to be doing? You know, does it look like this, or does it look like something different? And if it's something different, that could help you troubleshoot to maybe correct the problem. Anyhow, that's it. Like I said, just a little something I discovered I want to share. Again, this is not in-depth technical stuff. It's just little things I pick up along the way as I go along that maybe a little bit of illumination for somebody out there. So that's all. Everybody take care. 73s, be safe, and we'll talk to you later. KK4Z Scott, clear.